Hello friends, so today we're going to discuss the first three problems from the latest AdCoder Beginner Contest 175. So let's start. The first problem named Rainy Season. So we have weather records at AdCoder town for some consecutive 3 days. Okay, the string is of length 3 of course because we have consecutive 3 days report, and the ith character can be S if that ith day is sunny or R if that ith day is rainy. Now you have to find out the maximum number of consecutive rainy days in this period. Okay, so as you can see, this can be rainy, and then the answer is 2. Or in this there is no rainy. In this there is maximum of 1 rainy. So this is a simple question of finding out like consecutive maximum number of R's which are together. Okay, so let's assume that you have this string which is R, S. Okay, you have to find out the consecutive R's. So what you'll do, you insert like S at the end, because there can be a case such that it is S, R, and like S. Okay, so this is the three characters which we have. If you insert S at the end, what you can do, it acts as a breaking point. Okay, now you start from left to right and then count if there is an R, increment our total. Total is the total number of consecutive R's. Like this method can be used for a string of length n also. This is a string of length 3, but like you can extend this like logic for string of length n also. So what you can do here is start from left to right. If it is an R, increment by total. Now move to this point, it is an R, increment by total to 2. It is an S. So what you will do, now consecutive R's has finished because this is an S. So the total consecutive R's we have seen is 2. Now you can make some other variable maxi which will store the maximum number of R's consecutive you have seen. It is initialized as 0, and then you have seen 2 R's, so make it 2, and then you can return out this maximum consecutive R's. Okay, so you can also do it some ways such that you can check that whether only 1 R is present or 2 consecutive R is present. You can also check that. That is also very simple, but I have used this formula. So let's move on to the code. Code is also very simple, like push back S at the end and then iterate from 0 till the whole length. Whenever you find R, increment the total, else you doesn't feel like find R, you find S, then maximum will show the maximum number of total R you have encountered, and then again turn your total to 0 and then return maximum. Okay, this method can also be used for like finding consecutive R's in a string of length n. This will run in O of n. Okay, so now the next question is making triangles. You have sticks of length, like you have n sticks which have length like li. Now in how many ways you can choose 3 sticks with different lengths to form a triangle? Now you know how to form a triangle. Like a same question occurred yesterday also in Codeforce's question, in which they asked how many triangles you can form, and same this type of question in which you have to choose 3 different type of length of like triangles or different type of sticks, and then you have to form a triangle. So what you can see here is you are given an array of stick lengths, and then you have to choose 3 different sticks which have different lengths also, such that they will form a triangle. So to form a triangle, the basic condition is if the length of a triangle is a1, a2, a3, then the summation of the 2 small length. So let's assume that the triangle will form with these lengths a1, a2, a3, and a1, a2 are the smaller lengths, like they are smaller with compared to a3. Then the summation of a1, a2 should be strictly greater than a3. That's the condition to form a triangle. So what you can do here is, because the constraints are very small, it's just 100, so you can write a O of n cube solution, in which you can write this array a1, a2, a3, and then take 3 pointers, one at the start, second and third, and O of n cube you iterate over all the elements. But the key thing here is, if you sort this whole length initially, then all the lengths will be sorted. This will be the smallest, then this will be the next greatest, then next greatest, and so on. So let's assume that you have these 3 elements and you want to check that whether they will form a triangle or not. So eventually obviously the pointer which points at this is I, this is J, this is K. So the pointer at I and J will be smaller in compared to J. So you just check that the elements at I is not equal to J and J not equal to K. And also if you do a summation of I and J length, then it should be greater than I of K, and that's the whole logic. So let's move on to the code part. Code is also very simple. I have done something extra, but you can also do it in this way. I have sorted out the whole array, take the input of the whole array, then sort it out. Then total is the total number of triangles you can form. Iterate over from 0 to n, then I like j to like j from I plus 1 till n, and k from j plus 1 till n. And first check that all the strict lengths should be different. And then what you do that, I have written down this, but you don't have to write down this. You just have to check that the length of I and j should be strictly greater than like b. I have made another vector and sorted out. Okay, but actually they are sorted only. So okay, so this is, I have just sorted out, taken all the three lengths and then sorted out, but this is not required. You just put here a0, or sorry, ai like aj should be greater than ak, and if this condition holds true, then total plus plus, and then in the end return out total. So that's the logic for the second question. Let's move on to the third question. A lot of my subscribers and members asked to solve this question. This is a math based question, so let's start. Takahashi, who lives in the number line, is now on a coordinate x. So there's a number line and Takahashi was on coordinate x. Okay, so let's assume that this is a number line and this is x, and then what you can do, he can makes exactly k moves of distance d. Okay, so like he can move like this or this, but he can do at most, or at total he has to do k moves, and then in all the k moves what you have to do, you can jump at a distance of d. So this is d, this distance, then again this distance is d. Okay, so now what you can do, more specifically, you can go from x to x plus d and x minus d. Okay, now he wants to make k moves so that the absolute difference or absolute value of the coordinate of the destination will be the smallest possible. This is a typical line, but it means that the destination you will reach after these k hops in negative or positive direction. Then like this destination, let's assume that you start at point 2 and then you reach at point 5 or minus 5, or like you will reach at a point of 10. So you will find an absolute value of this destination which turns out to be 5, or this turns out to be 10. So you will ensure that the destination should be as minimum as possible. That's the whole question, and you have to find out the minimum possible value of the coordinate of the destination and the absolute value. Okay, so this is the input which is giving you the starting point. K means how many hops you can do, and d means what the distance of each hop you will hop on. Okay, so as you can see in this question, this is the input and the constraints are very large, so you cannot do it brute force. Okay, and also if you cannot do this question brute force way, then the simple approaches you have to do or apply some math. So this is a math based question. So let's assume, and like I always emphasize to draw these cases out because it will always be helpful. So let's assume that this is 0, this is the 0th point, and you start at some this point which is x. Okay, now let's assume that you have a hop of d and you can move k distance. So this is one hop, this is another hop, this is another hop, this is another hop. As you can see, I am on the right, or sorry, actually left of this 0, so my x will be negative, and also you can see that x can also be a negative. Okay, so let's assume that I am on minus 100, and we have to find out the least possible value of this after doing these k hops. Now what you can see, it is beneficial to go right or left. If I go left, then my x will eventually like decrease, but the absolute value will increase. Like if I go left, it will become like minus 115, then the absolute difference will increase now. So why should I go to the left? My target is to go to the right, and same if I am at this position, my target is to go to the left. Okay, now if after doing all the k hops, because we have to do k hops, if after doing all the k hops of distance d, if still my distance, or like I am like before 0, I am before 0, then it is beneficial to do all the key hops and reach at this point, because this will make us the closest to 0. So let's assume that I will reach to like -5. So why it is not beneficial to go like this and this? Because if I go like this and this, then it will net make it 0 and I will decrease one hop. So I will not reach at this point, I will reach somewhere like this point. And my distance to the 0 will increase, it will be like 10 now. So it is not beneficial to go back and front. If after doing all the key hops we can reach closest to the 0, then it is beneficial. Also what you can observe that -x and x are mirror images. If I go from this to this, or I go from this to this, this is equivalent. If I am at 5 or if I am at -5, what does this matter? I have to reach, or I have to make this 0 now. So like forget about the negative cases. If my x is negative, just make it positive. Okay, so I have done this for negative side, but you have to make your x positive, because you can also do this same thing for going from positive index to 0 also. Okay, now this is the one case, but now the other case can be I am at this x, or like I am at this x. Let's move down, do some hopping, and my hopping is such that I reach at this position. If I do all the key hops, then I will reach at this position. Let's assume that. So like, is it beneficial to do all the hops in the like going to the left direction? No, because if I do all the hops, let's assume that I will reach at this point. Why should I reach at this point? Else what I can do here is I will go do some hopping, I will reach at this point, then I will go to this point again, then I will go to this point, because I am revolving around the 0, because I have to make this as small as possible now. So that's the main trick now. If we see that all the key hops will make us reach before 0, then I will do all the key hops. But if I go out of 0, I will go to this point, then I will juggle around or move around 0 only to make it as close to 0. Now how many times we have to juggle around, we have to see. Okay, now you have to do this, we have to understand one more logic. So let's assume that I am at point x. Now if I am at point x, if I have 2k, like k is equal to 2, like I means I can do 2 hops. If I have 2 hops, I can go 2 steps ahead, but it can also happen that I can go 1 step ahead and come again to back at this point, which is nullifying my point. I am nullifying. If it is even, I can nullify my k and come at the same point. But if it is an odd number, like k is odd, then I don't have any choice but to go front. If it is 3, I can go 3 steps ahead, but I can also do that. I can go 1 step ahead, 1 step back, but again I have to go 1 step ahead. So it will not nullify my point. I am not nullifying. If I am starting at 0, I will have to move some points. But if it is even, I will always come back to my original point. So that's the main trick. If I start from x, I will reach as close to 0 as possible. Then what will I do? I will try to nullify my effect. If it is even, I can always reach down to the same point. If I reach the closest point is this, then I will reach this, like this is the closest point, then I can always nullify. If after reaching this my k is equal to even, after doing all these steps the remaining k is even, then I will always nullify my point by revolving around this. But if my k is odd, I cannot nullify, but I have to do at least one more step. Okay, I hope you understand this part. These are the two logics which I have to use. If it is even, we can nullify, but if it is not even, it is odd, we have to do at least one more step, and then we have to check that whether that step will lead to what is the answer. That's the whole logic for this question. Let's move on to the code to make it more clear. So the code is that's what I've said. First make x the absolute value of x, which means I am removing the negative part from x. Then I have two conditions. The first condition is after moving all the k steps to the left, if I make this x positive, I can move all the k steps to the left, and then also I am behind this 0, then it is always beneficial to move all the k steps. So that's what we have done. We have checked that if x is greater than 0, and then I can move all the k steps. So x minus d will tell us how many steps I can do. Why? Because let's assume that I am at point x, which is at like x denote what is the difference between 0 and this point. So this is different, like let's assume that this distance is 10 and I can do a hop of difference 50. Okay, so now if I divide, or let's assume that I have a hop of distance 2. So if I divide 10 divided by 2, it is equal to 5, which will tell us if I do 5 hops back, I can reach 0. I hope you understand. So this will tell us how many hops I can do to reach as close to 0. So if I find out that if my k is equal to, let's assume 3, which is less than 5, so it will help us to know that I can go 5 hops back and then I will reach 0, but I have only k equal to 3, so I can go more hops and I will also not reach to 0. I will not cross 0. That's what I've done. I will find out x divided by k, which will tell us how many hops it will require to reach 0. And if this is greater than, or like k is less than this, which means k is smaller and I can do all the hops, then I can eventually like do all the hops and reach x as close as possible and just output the x. Okay, else if I cannot do all the hops, then it means that k is larger. I have like 100 hops and for this I can only do 5 hops. So then what will I do? I will reach as close to 0 as possible. So I will reach as close to 0 as possible. I will divide x with this, and also I have done some hops to reach as close as possible. So I have done this amount of hops. So as you can see, if there are like 100 hops, k is equal to 100, and I can do 5 hops to reach 0. So I will first reach 0 doing these 5 hops. So okay, so now I am at 0 and I have done 5 hops. So I will minus from 100, I will minus 5. So which means that now I have 95 hops left and I am as close possible to 0. So now I have to like use these hops very carefully. So now because this is odd, I will do like this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then after doing all these hops, I will remain with 1 hop left. So I will move that 1 hop to ahead and I will be at a point plus 5 with 0 and the answer will be 5. I hope you understand. But if it is 94, then I can do all these hops and I can be at 0 again because it is even, which I have told you in this logic, and thus I can again at 0 and like the answer will be 0. So that's what we have done. If it is 0, then the answer is just absolute of k, x. But if it is not 0, then like you can just add x plus d. I have done like absolute minus or x minus d or x plus d. This actually means that we are at x now after doing all the like hops. Now I have this amount of hops remaining. Now because it is odd, at x the minimum can be I can do x minus d or I can do x plus d. Both are possible. So let's assume that I am at this position which is closest to 0. After doing all the odd position, I can go like this or I can go like this. You have to check that what is closest. So that's the whole trick. You can check that what is the closest and then output the minimum among this. I hope you understand all the 3 questions. If you still have any doubts, please mention down. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Keep coding. Bye.